The KLOS Helpful Honda Rock Room, powered by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. Thank you, SoCal Honda. Thanks also to Sawtooth Musical Instruments, DB Technologies, lighting by Visual Elements, audio production by Trans Am Entertainment, and special thanks to Carl's Jr. for providing the day's nourishment.
Welcome to the KLOS SoCal Helpful Honda Rock Room. My name is Emo, and we have a great show for you tonight. So let's give it up loud and proudly for the one and the only Matt Pinfield.
Hey, everybody. Hey. So great to see everybody. How you doing today? Great to see you. That's right. Hey, thank you so much for coming out. It's going to be an incredible show today. Thanks so much for coming and being a part of the 95.5 KLOS Helpful Honda Rock Room for this great show. I'm really excited to bring these guys to you. It's going to be incredible. We're really excited that they'll be playing this Friday night down at the Honda Center. And I don't want to hold anything up. Let's bring them on right now. So let me introduce to you. I'm going to talk right now to Mark Kendall and Michael Lardie from Great Whites. Good to see you. Hey, guys, so good to see you. You know, I was so excited that you were going to do this. I got to go way back. I wanted to start with you, Mark, because you being a founder member of the band, of course. Talk to me about when you picked up the guitar. I know as a kid, the thing, I'd heard that you were a huge Carlos Santana fan, but you loved Billy Gibbons and Johnny Winter, and those were the things that drove you to want to play guitar. Talk to me about that.
Well, I started playing guitar when I was like 9 years old, but did everything that other kids did, baseball, mini bikes, get in trouble. But I kind of stuck with it, and when I was 14, that was the first guitar player that I kind of gravitated towards because I was watching that Woodstock concert on TV, and he just grabbed this note, and it was like it was for dear life or something. He's like sweating bullets, and I go, man, you know, I want to change my name to Carlos or something. And then I'd be obsessed by one guitar player, and then I kind of discovered Johnny Winter or Alvin Lee, and it went on and on. So I got a lot of heroes.
There are a lot of great ones, and right, of course, and Alvin Lee, you know, Going Home was in Woodstock as well. 10 years after, great band, underrated, right? And Alvin Lee was amazing. So I want to tell you, Michael, I know that around the second album you started getting involved, like around Shot at Dark. But talk to me about how you were introduced to the guys. I know that you were an engineer at the time.
Yeah, I was working as a staff engineer at Total Access down in Redondo, and they came in to record their first album for EMI, and ended up engineering some on that record and singing some background vocals. And they went off on tour and did the long tour, the Defenders of the Faith with Judas. Yeah. And then they came back in and started doing demos for the next record and realized they wanted to try some maybe second guitar and some keyboards on some stuff, you know. And I said, you know, I can do that. You know, so that just made it easy, just kind of a smooth transition. And it kind of rolled into that. And before we knew it, I was starting to play with him in '85. That's the same time Audie joined, which was great, our drummer Audie Desbrow.
I was going to say, here's what happened. We did a show, and he was kind of like on this riser, but, you know, we were kind of the featured guys. But when girls came backstage, they were asking where he was. So
Michael's getting along.
So we go, we better get this guy in the band if we're going to get any girls around us, you know. But, like he said, it went on, and, you know, he played rhythm guitar, keyboards, and engineer, and so that's how it started, and then made him a full-time member. And it really widened our scope to have that extra guitar and keys, you know. And, you know, a lot of people, when they hear our music, they're going, I hear the blues in there somewhere, but, you know, they got keyboards or whatever. So all our influences kind of gel together, you know.
They certainly do. You know, you go back to, Stick It, you know, you go back to the first album, and, you know, covers that you did are like Substitute. And then when you put out the special edition of that, and there were everything on there from Dr. Feelgood to Zeppelin. There was it was like you could see all the great stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, down to the doctor, baby.
Yeah,
down to the doctor. Yeah, we had our manager at the time was managing Clarence Clemens from the E Street Band, and he did out a couple tracks. And man, could he play! And I think it was when my second kid was born. We played the Troubadour, and he played live with us.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was sick.
He came down from the
How great would that
stairs.
have
If you've
been? I
ever
wish
been to
I'd
the
seen
Troubadour, you know, the stairs go down from the dressing room. And he just started walking and playing at the same time. And the chills on my arm, I mean, my arm hair just stood up because to me, it was like one of those moments as a musician that you just treasure forever to be able to play with such a magnificent
I'm surprised we
human
could
and
even
musician.
play.
Yeah.
That's so great that you did that with Clarence.
Yeah.
Because he just like you guys love music so much. You know, I love the fact that with the first album, Stick It, and Shot in the Dark, I love that rock bands like yourselves and even Quiet Riot are releasing stuff in Japan. You know, even if a major didn't sign you at first, you were like, we're going to make a record. We're going to do our thing. Like, we love rock and roll so much. We're going to find a way to put out a record. Tell me what that experience was like on the first two records.
Well, it started when we met the manager at a show, and he gave us his card. We went down to the independent label the following day, and he thought we had potential, he said. So we're going, great, But he hated our name. Hated it. Yeah. And so we're going, oh, my God, because any band that's ever tried to think of a name knows it's maximum torture. I mean, he goes, oh, I got your name. Great White. And we're like, we didn't love it at first, okay? But it was, we were shark fishing one time out in Long Beach, and when we thought of the shark with the name, then we thought it was good because the name doesn't dictate to our music what we play. Yeah. We could play a ballad or, kill your parents or whatever, And so we really liked it for that reason, and we put the shark image with the name. We liked it, Wow, but so
that's great.
I was going to say one more thing. We were getting airplay without a record deal, and in like heavy rotation through the manager's connections. He was a real good businessman, and after we did a full album, we did a quick tour of Europe and in the States with Judas Priest. We got home, we got dropped off the label. So I just wanted to say this because when we went in and made our own record, KLOS played Face the Day in heavy rotation, and it was this number 2 song of the year. So it was because of KLOS that we got our second opportunity.
That is so great that you did.
Well, they helped us live out the tour mantra we had for that year, Survive 85. KLOS helped us be able to get bridge from that point to getting signed on Capitol and putting out Once Bitten. It was so essential to KLOS. So thank all you guys.
Yeah. That is so great. And Face the Day, I love that you did. Most people probably don't realize there was a band from Australia called The Angels, and that we all loved. The three of us, coming up. And so when you guys did that, it just made me so happy. I thought it was great. Your version was killer. So
thank you.
And so let's move on to the fourth album, Twice Shy. Of course, that's when everything exploded. Your version of that song, because it was always about the Hoople fan. I'm sure you guys were too, and Ian Hunter. So when you guys did Once Bitten, Twice Shy, and you just brought it to a new level, and it was great to see you guys when that came out. When I heard the record for the first time, I'm like, yes. So fans, tell me about that jump to the fourth album and how things just started to happen with you.
Well, I mean, when you come in from the road, we had been out with Whitesnake, and I'm sure some of you had seen that show, 87, 88. When we actually went in to start writing for that, it was like, okay, we got to do better than Once Bitten, And the song Once Bitten, Twice Shy was a thing we decided to do at the very end, and it was on a suggestion of Izzy Stradlin from GNR. He just thought, well, if your album's going to be called Twice Shy, then and your previous one's Once Bitten, and you're going to do the song, you should do this song. And we listened to it. We kind of went, okay, maybe it'll be one of those songs that people will respond to, but we'll move on to other things, because we were thinking about things like Heart the Hunter and Angel Song and House of Broken Love. So we were thinking about those songs. We had no idea that song would get the legs that it did and take off. It was the perfectly timed released song for the summer. For some reason, people responded to it all the way even to top 40 radio. It got to number 5, which is kind of unheard of at the time for a hard rock band.
Yeah, here's the funny thing about doing the song is we had plenty of material, but our manager really liked the lyrics of the song. He goes, you guys should just do this. And we thought we could kind of make it our own. So we did it. But I've told the story before, but if you're going to you need a cover song, you go find a hit and then make it your own. You don't find a song that's never been a hit and try to make it one, So it wasn't by design on our part. It just came to us and we go, okay.
Yeah. And then it ended up being one of those situations where it became something.
It was a crazy time for sure.
It's an incredible time. One of the things that I know many people here will remember is I love the Unplugged performance that you guys had on MTV. Like, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You was just, I remember seeing that and being blown away. And it was just so great. Tell me about that experience.
I got a funny story about that real quick, Michael. I got a call the night before we're doing Unplugged, the manager. He says, learn, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. Jack wants to do it. And I'm going, dude, this isn't like Tush. I mean, it has a big arrangement. It's all this picking, And I go, are we going to rehearse it? He goes, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll go over it in the dressing room. so we did. We went over in the dressing room and played it once at sound check. But luckily for me, Jack knew the song so well, I was using him for cues because I was starting to go to other parts and just kind of noodled my way out of it when I realized I'm not supposed to do that yet. But it turned out good, and of course, I was scared to death. If you ever watch that video close, I'm shaking like a leaf. And then at the very end, I put my head out, and I'm all happy because I know that
Made it to the finish
I can
line.
get out of this.
and they played it so much. It was got a lot of love. It was played.
Oh yeah, in video rotation. I mean, one thing that's notable about doing Unplugged is we're the 6th band ever to have done it, and we're really lucky to have done it so early in its incarnation. And one of the coolest things for me is got to hang out with the Damn Yankees, which we had known Jack Blades and Tommy, Jack from Night Ranger, we toured with them. And then I got to meet Don Henley, which was a joy for me.
Ted Nugent was funny. He goes, what do you think about this Unplugged? And he goes, oh, a guy gassed me once and handed me acoustic and tried to make me play one. Like he totally hated it. It's funny.
But it was a great camaraderie because everybody was there recording and hanging
totally.
out. And it was really early on. And it was such a great thing for MTV to do for a long time.
It was a great idea because you can give people a different look at the songs. You know, they're used to hearing it this one way, and then you strip it down to acoustics. And I've always been told if it's a good song, it should hold up with one guy sitting there playing an acoustic.
One guitar,
singing.
one voice.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
which is so great. We have some questions from the audience as well, which we're going to take right now. So, Emo, would you introduce this gentleman and get a question for Mark and for Michael?
Yes, we have Dennis, who also goes by Deep Cut Dennis, right
Deep
here
Cut
from
Dennis.
Claremont. Give it up for Deep Cut
Dennis.
Dennis.
Let's hear it for him, everybody.
What would you like to ask, Dennis?
Well, I wanted to ask you about where you got your original influence, which you touched on. So maybe where are you getting new influence from? And who are you listening to nowadays of the new bands? What's in your playlist, each one of you?
Well, as far as new bands, I like Hailstorm because I like Lizzie, and Lizzie's actually out fronting Skid Row right now.
Yes.
So that's going to be an interesting run. I like really eclectic stuff too. I mean, I was listening to an album of the Submarines the other day. Just, I mean, it's so outside of what we do. I mean, everybody would say they like Greta Van Fleet, but I'm going to stick with the original Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
There is one thing I like about Greta Van Fleet. We did a show with them, and we're backstage talking to them, and literally 2 minutes before they're supposed to play, you know, they just go out, plug in, 1, 2, 3, 4, go. You know, so there is no machine music. They don't, you know, they might be a little out of tune. You know, it's all good, bro. I love that because, you know, they got good because they played together a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, we weren't so hot when we were in a garage and Mom was telling us to tone it down, you know. But
Turn
you
that
keep firing
treble.
away, eventually, you know, people can deal with you if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's great. All right, we're going to take our second question. Thank you so much, Dennis. Okay, Emo.
All right, we have John all the way from Atlanta. What would you like to ask the band?
Atlanta.
What's your question for the
Well,
guys?
we don't say that anymore, but yes, for sure. So you've been together over 40 years, right? And so this, 4 decades of spanning music. When that little riff from Seattle hit and it crushed our sound, and I say ours because it crushed my band too. That was it. By 93, I was done, drop label, whole deal. How did you guys manage to, especially you, Kendall, to stay together and then reunite and go, no, you know what? We're worthy. We're like, people love us because I loved you. I loved you back then. I love you now. What kept you the glue together through all those that I call it the dark decade of grunge?
I think here's what happened with me. I actually kind of liked it. I mean, it was kind of refreshing to see these guys out there in Levi's like they didn't care and just, and I felt like the 80s was starting to get watered down just a hair at the end. So our attitude is, we've never been one to follow a trend and all of a sudden you're going to hear something different from us. We get together and ask each other, what do you got? And then if we like the riff that you show us, we go, let's work on that and try to make it the best we can and then just pray people are going to like it. But we've never, if a trend comes swimming by, we're not going to, try to sound like that or something, you know what I mean? Right on. I think that's what kept us together is on our first album, even though a lot of people liked it, we were trying to be like something. We were trying to be like Judas Priest or be like the Scorpions, where as soon as we became honest with ourselves, flocks of people came around and go, dig it, I love it, man. This is badass.
You found your place.
So that was, there's definitely something to say about when you're honest with yourself about music. And then we always, say a little prayer that people are going to like it because after you're done with the record, you're waiting 3 months to find out if you're good or not. Yeah. So it's not like playing live when you're done with the song. It's either yay or nay. You know what I mean?
Media thing, which is amazing. Thank you so much for coming all the way from Atlanta to see Great White. Great to have you here. It's awesome. Okay, who do we got now, Emo?
All right, we got Cindy from Moreno Valley. What do you got for the band?
Hey,
Where did you guys reunite in 07?
Well, what month was that exactly? Was it January?
January.
I think it was January because we had gone to a party in December of 2006 and actually finalized everything. And we went to your rehearsal studio.
That's right.
And we worked for about a week solid. And we relearned about 18 tunes, having not played for about 5 years together.
And did a lot of equipment
No, I'm
changes,
talking about
too,
when we
during that
reformed with all the original members. Yeah, so that was that's what we did. We spent a week woodshedding and getting it together, and then went out and I think our first show was in the fabulous town of Prairie Heights, North Dakota.
No, it was in Hollywood.
Oh well, no. I mean, I know we played the Key Club.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the real tour where you're starting. Was out there, and then so we do fly dates now. We go out for Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and come home and have a couple days of normalcy, and then rinse, wash, rinse, repeat. You know.
And you guys are doing a great job at
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, they really are.
And love you,
You
too,
guys
Emo.
are
We hear you all the time
absolutely-
on the radio, and we love you. Great taste in music.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. That's great, guys. I mean, it's amazing, and it's so good that you guys reunited at that period of time and just killed it. Did it feel great getting back in the room together again and just playing? That feeling must have been
Well, just playing the songs. I mean, that's one thing I will say that we've been very, very lucky to have, you know, with Mark's talent and my input, you know, over the years, writing quality material, because at the end of the day, it doesn't work if you don't have the songs.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's all about the songs, right?
Yeah.
It really is.
That's how you judge who headlines. It's like, oh, they got more good songs than we do. I guess we got to play before those guys.
Well, are you guys excited about? I mean, this is going to be a great Friday night. You're going to be playing with Quiet Riot, Vixen. It's going to be a fun night. Are you excited to see some old friends?
Oh, yeah, we actually do quite a few shows with them. We do
great.
shows with Slaughter, Quiet, occasionally Vixen. You know, it's occasionally Steven Adler's Appetite. It's great to go out and do these big festivals because everybody's in that mode, just like you are right now. Yeah. The feeling you have for the music of that time, it brings you back to a place that's like no other. So I know you get it, you know.
Yeah, the fun and excitement of that, which is great. So it's
There's a brotherhood there too. I mean, you know, we're all friends. We hang out. I see Rudy, and you know,
Rudy's the best. He's such a great guy, and Mark too, man.
sweet
Mark Slaughter's
people,
such a
man.
great guy. And he's been working with, you know, Mark Farner. He's been producing him from Grand
That's
Funk.
right, yeah.
Which is very cool. So
Been working with Mark Farner. Mark
Yeah,
Farner too.
I'm your captain.
yeah. Great music, right? It was amazing,
yeah.
Grand Funk. Guys, I want to just say this, it's so great to have you here. I want to thank you so much for hanging out and coming to play for the KLOS audience that love Great White. I'm really happy to see you guys.
Thank you, Matt.
I'm telling you, Mark,
Thanks,
Michael.
you
So
guys.
what do you say we see some rock and roll, everybody?
All right. So we're going to...
Okay. We're going to get started in just a minute, everybody. So get ready for some Great White. I'll be right back.